Today we are at the booth with Maag Audio Cliff Senior, and we are showing some of the new products he's presenting and some of the legacy products as well. Here I see two Magnum K compressors.
Right. This would be a left and a right now, so one channel, we'll just maybe talk about one channel.
Sure,
So, but I've got it set up as a stereo,
right,
into stereo mode now. It has the attenuator again on the input. So if I had it on a 2-bus, I can get, the same thing, gain it back 1.5 dB, and I'm matched up feeding it. Then the other thing it has that's different from any of these is it has an input gain as well. They have to be two different circuits so that to keep the integrity where it has to be.
This is not a color box.
Yeah, I want it to be not messed with when I go to turn one of the input or the attenuation. So I have two separate circuits to get it done correctly.
Right.
The thing that's different about this compressor, this opto, is you'll see that it goes 4 dB of compression. That's like a governor. It's not going to go over 4 dB. So if I were doing the vocal and it were happening, I would take and put it on 4, run the ratio up a bit, and then I would take and compress it. And let me see if I can get this playing so I can see it go here. Let's see if we can get that rolling. Okay, so now to get it, now you can, and I'll do just the one on top. If you see the button right here, okay, so now I'm doing 4 dB of compression, not anymore. If I go to there, it's still 4 dB of compression.
So what this control actually is doing is not a ratio by itself. No, you got a ratio in here.
Yes.
That's basically saying, no matter how low I drop the threshold, you cannot
go over
the 4
dB
the 8,
of
12, 16 dB of gain reduction.
And it does it on every one. Then the other thing it has is a side chain. So right now, what is going through this right now is allowing everything below 220 to fly through, and then the compression is being done with everything above it. So it stops the...
So everybody is always struggling with the mix and the kick and low end, triggering the compressor big time.
That's it.
And this is a really good way because you can select different frequencies. I can see you go from 40, 80, 120, 220.
Exit out the back.
And external as well. If
now
you
want put one on the back. If you want a DS, throw an EQ on it and DS.
That's super good, man. That's super nice. So that's basically allowing you to compress without getting that over pumping from the low end.
Exactly.
So to speak.
Yep. In the next section, this is another compressor, and I know it looks pretty simple. There's one button in and one knob. There's a lot more under the hood than just a button and a knob.
Sure it is.
So let me tell you what is in it. I take an entire EQ, the EQ4, just to control that knob, 2.5K. And that's the harsh, edgy area that we have on vocals, on a trumpet that may hit you and hurt your ears, on a guitar that would, or a piano that gets edgy when they dig into the top end of the piano. So 2.5K, this compressor is going to grab and control that. Right now you can see it's grabbing it. Can you see the blue grabbing that? So now I'll just back it down and then I can determine how much I'm going to do it. That is only 4 dB of compression at 2.5K. So this is a multi-band compressor. If I had a compressor on each one of these bands, each one of them would be doing it. But I chose only to do the one, and this is the one that's going to get it. And keep in mind this, you remember when we talked about the phase shift on the EQ?
Yeah.
When this, if I were doing this with a regular EQ, the swish should be going on. Well, that isn't what I want to have going on that vocal when this does it, so there's no movement of the phase.
Yeah.
When it compresses 2.5K.
Pretty linear. Yeah.
And that's really important.
It is.
So two compressors, the input gain, and the set, the Magnum K, the K comp.
Yeah.
Then we go to a next section. Now we'd have to go to the console we're going to put in an EQ2 that is in parallel with the compressed signal that we did here. So right now I'd have to wire in an EQ2, run it to the console, run what comes out of this compressor to the two compressors to the console, and then I've got to sum them at the console. That's what these knobs do, is give me the fader to bring equalization from the original signal right here. So now
in parallel
with
the signal that's been compressed.
That's being compressed. Same time. They're exactly the same time from the same source.
That's great, man.
So now when it hits here, then I've got I want to control the bottom end more in mixing and on vocals.
Yes.
So now, if I were cutting a vocal, I would kick in probably with the tight band on a female vocal and go up at least to 250, maybe 400 even, and add just a little bit of gain.
Yeah.
With the compressed signal. That's in the tight band pass, which gives me all the numbers that are on the tight one on top.
Right.
If I go to the wide band pass, it gives me a whole nother set of numbers.
Wow, so I see you guys 2, 4, 6, 8.
Yeah.
Eight different frequency selections that you can make in there.
Yeah, there's like 10 or
plus
so, because
the
you
sub.
can even go down to the sub, and there's 2 in the sub as well.
True that.
So it's quite a few selections.
That's a lot of that's a lot of EQ. You can do that.
So on this mix, I'd probably be going at like I think I'd stay tight, and I think I can't read it without my glasses a great deal. But it's 45, right?
45.
45. So that's what I'd be pushing right now on this mix probably to get that bottom, just to thicken up the bottom end on the bass. And then the next one is the air band. And so I'm going to go out to 40,000 cycles because I'm controlling what's happening at 2.5K, and now I'm going to open it up above the sibilants, way above it. So let me explain to you why I may go out at 40 or 30,000 cycles. I know we can't hear anything up there,
right.
But what's up there is as it comes off of the curve, by the time it starts to come down here on the very bottom part of it, you're going to gain from like 10,000 cycles out to 16K,
totally.
Where you're going to enhance and it's hard to explain what it is. It's like, whoa, the presence, everything just changed.
Yep.
It's like it's more live. It's alive. I don't know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's the usual thing, how to describe sounds. Somebody does it with color, somebody does it with other things. To me, it's just, it brings the intimacy of the performance straight at you.
Yep, and I called it back in the day air, and that was at 10K.
It is.
And that's when it came about, back in that's where the air band came from. And so once I've got that all mixed back in with these knobs that are like faders at your console right here. Yeah. I've got what I want, and I've made up the gain that I did the 8 dB of compression, and then I added EQ here, so I got to back it down a little bit to get the gain corrected.
Right.
Then after I got it corrected, I look at my DAW, and I go, yep, I'm at 0 going back in.
I can print it.
Now I'm going to kick in the limiter, and I'll run this too so I can show you the limit. So now so here's where I was at with it nothing. I'll kick in the limiter and I'll bring it up where now it is doing a soft limit, and I'm 3 to 5, 6 dB hotter than I could have been back into Pro Tools, and I just trimmed the trees.
So it's nice and even.
Yep, and I spent a long time getting this particular
thing right.
Limiter right, this soft limit. It's a soft limit.
All right, it's a soft.
So you can hit it real hard.
And of course, if you hit it really hard, it might go over.
Oh yeah, this becomes your threshold for the limiter.
True.
The makeup gain.
Yeah. So basically we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 circuits built into a unit.
Yeah.
Wow, man. You did it again.
Think of how many mic cables you'd have to hook up a stereo pair of them. and then get all your mixes done. And then the artist, after 4 weeks, you have to run other stuff in the studio, so you brought it down.
Recall it, change it up.
Okay, so now, oh man, on mix 7, I got to have you do that again. You got to set everything up again.
Honestly, Cliff, you know what I really love about your units?
Thanks.
That's really units for the modern approach. You can definitely take these units with you, and it lets you work so quickly and so nicely without overthinking what I'm doing. Just the fact everything is recallable.
Yep.
Just the fact you have so much technology built into one unit rack. And the fact that these units are phase linear as much as possible within an EQ, of course.
Yep.
This makes this, I don't know, this is the dream EQ, if I have to think of one.
Thank you so much. And I'll tell you the one thing that my goal is for myself.
Yeah.
I like to stay in the music. I don't want to just be back here just tweaking knobs. I want to be able to tweak the knobs to make it sound better, so we all can stay in the session and stay in the music and concentrate on the feel and the vibe that we're doing. And we as engineers, we help that.
Yeah, totally.
We kind of help guide that to be the case, so they have a great experience in the studio. That matters.
And of course, again, the tools are just the tools, guys.
They're tools.
And it's the guy behind the tools, but when you select your tools, well, you should be really thinking twice, because the tools will have an impact on your sessions, you like it or not. And when it's time to purchase for gear, you should think, okay, I like that brand, I like the model, but is that what's gonna really save me on that session or not? This is the kind of gear that really is gonna help you move faster and better, and get better and better at what you do.
Yeah,
thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Thank you. Great recording to everybody.
Cheers.
Yep, I love it.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.